This is the Prophecy Project. Understanding the times, the nations in military conflicts. With Bible teacher and author, Alan Bonk.
Welcome. This is the session number 52 of the Prophecy Project. This is part number 2 of 2 in the study of the 3 Persian kings, which are found in the book of Daniel from chapter 11. This session will explain what a Persian king is and how to identify them for you and I, and to show what is happening right now in Iran and Israel. First, Cyrus and Darius worshipped the Persian god. He is known by the name Ahura Mazda. He is symbolically shown in stone all over Persia. Even today, as you see in the pictures next to me. This symbol was also used by the kings to show their fidelity to their god. On Cyrus, it is displayed hanging around his neck. Also, Darius has it on his chest. And even the later king, Xerxes, wears it too. Remember, it is a sign of fidelity. At the time of these early Zoroastrian kings, these Persian kings, the people by and large could not read. Only the scribes, priests, merchants, and royalty were educated enough to read, but everyone could understand symbols. Second, Cyrus and Darius and the early Persian kings, probably over 150 of them, were Zoroastrians, the religion of ancient Persia, Ahura Mazda. We saw a symbol. Later, around 600 AD, the kings became Islamic and did not honor the old Persian god. Although there were still Zoroastrians living in the world today, or there are, less than 200,000, and only about 25,000 are in Iran today. But they still exist. The third thing here is that the language of Cyrus, the Persian kings, is called Pahlavi, and it means Persian or Zoroastrian. It has now developed into modern Farsi, the language of Iran today. They are connected. Now, in 1925, in Iran, about 100 years ago for us, the Iranian military commander-in-chief at that time took control of the Iranian government and replaced the last Islamic king. This commander's name was Reza Khan. Reza had no royal connections to any previous Islamic kings. In fact, he didn't even have a family name. He was told that he had to choose the name for his royal house, his dynasty. He went back to pre-Islamic times and chose the name Pahlavi, the ancient name for Persia. Reza had constant conflicts during his reign with the Islamic clergy because he adopted the Zoroastrian calendar to replace the Islamic one and desired to modernize the kingdom, Persia, Iran, to bring Iran into the 20th century and to stop the exploitation of Iran by other nations, by the Russians in the West. He eventually abdicated in 1941, just after the start of World War II. His son followed him as the Shah of Iran, Mohammad Reza Shah. Most of us today remember the Shah of Iran. He was a controversial figure for sure, and I'm not going to get into him personally, or what might be deserved or not deserved, but only what I feel is relevant to the scriptures and our subject. I will first point out that he, the Shah, just like the early Persian kings, proudly displays his fidelity to Ahura Mazda. Look at the photo. This is not an accident, nor is it any small thing. This would and did incense the Islamic clergy. Now, a little later down, in 1971, the Shah decided to honor his country, but not the Islamic history. He went back 2,500 years to the founding of Persia, to King Cyrus the Great. He went to Persepolis, Cyrus's city. It's there in Iran, the place where Cyrus's tomb still exists today. The Shah built a massive facility on the site and invited all the nations of the world and their leaders to come and celebrate with him. He even had parades and a pageant, and some of the troops and musicians were dressed up in Persian attire from Cyrus's time. In 1976, he also moved the first day of the Iranian calendar from 1395 AD, Islamic, to 2525 BC to honor the Zoroastrian Cyrus and bypass Islam and Muhammad. I want you to hear the Shah's address and prayer to Cyrus at that 2,500-year celebration. The Shah stood with his wife, the Queen, and his son, the Crown Prince. Watch and read the subtitles closely and listen to the speech. I want you to hear his passion.
کوروش شاه بزرگ شاه شاهان شاه هخامنشی شاه ایران زمین از جانب من شاهنشاه ایران و از جانب ملت من بر تو درود باد. در این لحظه پرشکوه تاریخ ایران من و همه ایرانیان، همه فرزندان این شاهنشاهی کهن که 2500 سال پیش به دست تو بنیاد نهاده شد، در برابر آرامگاه تو سر ستایش فرود می آوریم و خاطره فراموش نشدنی تو را پاس می داریم. همه ما در این هنگام که ایران نو با افتخارات کهن پیمان تازه می بندد، تو را به نام قهرمان جاودان تاریخ ایران، به نام بنیانگذار کهنسال‌ترین شاهنشاهی جهان، به نام آزادی بخش بزرگ تاریخ، به نام فرزند شایسته بشریت درود می‌فرستیم. کوروش، ما امروز در برابر آرامگاه ابدی تو گرد آمده ایم تا به تو بگوییم آسوده بخواب، زیرا که ما بیداریم و برای نگاهبانی میراث پر افتخار تو همواره بیدار خواهیم بود. سوگند یاد می کنیم که آن پرچمی را که تو 2500 سال پیش برافراشتی همچنان افراشته و در اهتزاز نگاه خواهیم داشت. سوگند یاد می کنیم که بزرگی و سربلندی این سرزمین را به عنوان ودیعه‌ای مقدس که گذشتگان ما به ما سپرده اند با اراده‌ای پولادین حفظ خواهیم کرد و این کشور را سربلندتر و پیروزتر از همیشه به آیندگان خیش خواهیم سپرد. سوگند یاد می‌کنیم که سنت بشردوستی و نیک‌اندیشی را که تو اساس شاهنشاهی ایران قرار دادی همواره پاس خواهیم داشت و همچنان برای مردم جهان پیام آور دوستی و حقیقت خواهیم بود. در این 25 قرن کشور تو و کشور من شاهد سهمگین ترین حوادثی شد که در تاریخ جهان برای ملتی روی داده است و با این همه هرگز این ملت در برابر دشواری‌های گران سر تسلیم فرود نیاورد. در طول 2500 سال هر وجب از خاک این مرز و بوم با خون دلیران و جانبازان ایران زمین آبیاری شد تا ایران همچنان زنده و سربلند بماند. بسیار کسان بدین سرزمین روی آوردند تا آن را از پای درآورند، اما همه آنان رفتند و ایران بر جای ماند و در همه این مدت علی‌رغم تیرگی‌ها این سرزمین فروغ جاودان همچنان تجلیگاه اخلاق و کانون ابدی اندیشه باقی ماند. اکنون ما در اینجا آمده ایم تا با سربلندی به تو بگوییم که پس از گذشت 25 قرن امروز نیز مانند دوران پر افتخار تو پرچم شاهنشاهی ایران پیروزمندانه در اهتزاز است. امروز نیز مانند روزگار تو نام ایران در سراسر گیتی با احترام و ستایش بسیار درآمیخته است. امروز نیز مانند عصر تو ایران در صحنه پرآشوب جهان پیام آور آزادگی و بشردوستی و پاسدار والاترین آرمان‌های انسانی است. مشعلی که تو برافروختی و در طول 2500 سال هرگز در برابر تندبادهای حوادث خاموش نشد، امروز نیز فروزانتر و تابناکتر از همیشه در این سرزمین نورافشان است و فروغ آن همچون دوران تو از مرزهای ایران زمین بسیار فراتر رفته است. کوروش، شاه بزرگ، شاه شاهان، آزاد مرد آزاد مردان و قهرمان تاریخ ایران و جهان، آسوده بخواب، زیرا که ما بیداریم و همواره بیدار خواهیم بود.
Now, there are several relevant points made by the Shah that stand out to me. First, he makes it clear that he and Persia, Iran, are awake. That means revived and restored. And we will remain awake. He says at least 4 times. He also makes oaths to Cyrus, a dead man, to continue Cyrus's kingdom, to guard his legacy. He says, it is our path to continue, a holy task and responsibility left for us and our ancestors. He praises Cyrus for his legacy and that he, Cyrus, is the greatest king to have ever lived. He calls him the Shah, the King of Kings. He says, we are bowed with praise. He closes with, your kingdom, my kingdom, for everlasting light. I think it's clear that the Shah saw himself as the lineal descendant of Cyrus and a Zoroastrian king of the end times, but not the last Persian king. He felt that the kingdom would continue after him. This of course, brings us to his son, the young man in uniform standing to the Shah's left side during that ceremony. After the Shah had to leave Iran, he was deported, the Islamic Republic took over. And in 1979, the Shah died, and apparently the Cyrus kingdom as well. But it will be up to Reza Pahlavi, the crown prince, to reassert himself and to become the third Pahlavi, the third king. It has been 44 years since the fall, if he is indeed the third king, and the prophecy be true. I want you to watch 3 videos which are in the news right now, 2023.
An amazing revelation in Israel this week. Iran could see a radical change in government. That was the message from the son of the former Shah of Iran during an historic visit to the Jewish state.
I'm an Israeli, and what I learned in Persian, the first sentence is Maniak Israeli Hastam, Vamana Shege Mardumech Hastam. Now, I wanted to ask you, Your Highness, what does the future look like for Israelis and Iranians?
Well, it depends on whether or not Iran can be freed of the current regime that has nothing to do with Iran or Iranians, and therefore is not representative of a nation that has stood for centuries. And as you know, the relationship that Iran has, or Persia, as it used to be called, with the Jewish people throughout centuries, and ultimately, since Israel was created, is really a biblical relationship.
Yeah.
Just these walls are proof of how far it goes in time. And of course, we take pride as a nation of being the children of Cyrus the Great, who was, among other things, someone who helped rebuild the temples here and freed the Jewish slaves. So it's truly a biblical relationship. And now that we are in the 21st century, the potential for a bright future and close ties and cooperation and true friendship and true partnership is, of course, quite doable. We just hope that we can liberate ourselves first from the current regime that is anti-Iranian, that is anti-Jewish, anti-Israeli, anti-life. Anti-life. When you say L'chaim, that means to life.
Amen.
We celebrate life. They celebrate martyrdom and death. That's the difference.
Thank you. We love the Iranian people.
Reza is advocating for and actively pushing for a revolution in Iran to overthrow the Islamic Republic. If he is successful, he could return to Iran, not necessarily as a reigning king, but perhaps as a constitutional monarchy with limited powers. This is how he seems to envision his role. If he is the third Persian king of Daniel chapter 11, his time as king will be short. Let me read. Daniel 11:20. Then shall he stand up in his estate, a raiser of taxes, in the glory of the kingdom. But within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. Broken, crushed. I don't believe he's killed, but rather he is overthrown very early before he is really able to establish and consolidate his power base. It will be a peaceful coup. It says in Daniel 11:21 and 22, and in his estate, in the estate of the Pahlavi king, shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom. This is the fourth king. But he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. And with the arms of a flood shall they, the third king, be overflown from before him and shall be broken. It appears that the major reason or issue for the removal of the third king will be taxes. The current state of the Iranian economy is a disaster today. The Western sanctions have caused many problems within Iran, and it will only be magnified after the fall of the Islamic Republic. Now, I'm no economist, but I suspect that it would not be unreasonable to raise taxes to move the government forward. Evidently, though, the level and timing of the taxes will be unacceptable to the people. And the fourth king will take advantage of it. This is not speculation on my part, because later in Daniel 11, it tells us how he, the fourth king, handles the issue. He shall enter in peaceably upon the fattest places of the province, and he shall do that which his fathers had not done, or have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the people, the prey, the spoil, and the riches. The third king taxes the people and takes money from them. The fourth king gives the money back to the people. He raises their positions over the old guard, pulls people out, puts people in, and old officials. He takes their assets and gives them to the people. He also distributes the wealth to those who have suffered so much for so long. This policy is very shrewd. It's something new for Iranians and Iran. His fathers had never done it before. Now, in closing this video, I want to remind everyone that the fourth king is the one that sets up the abomination of desolation in the coming Jewish temple, and also causes the sacrifices to cease. Daniel 11:31. And the arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. He is more commonly known to us today as the Antichrist, the little horn, the beast, the Assyrian. In Matthew chapter 24:3, Jesus was asked by his disciples, what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And he said, when ye shall therefore see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, then let them which be in Judea flee to the mountains. I want to make some, what I think are obvious conclusions concerning the fourth king. If he will come up quickly after Reza, then he, just like Reza right now, is preparing the groundwork and making his connections. That would mean that he is in Iran right now. And he is already placed very high within Iranian politics. However, he is not Islamic, because if he had been Islamic, he would have been put out with all the other Islamic leadership. He has separated himself from the old regime. We are told he will come up from a small people, an ethnic group from within Iran. Micah 5:5 tells us, "And this man, the Messiah, shall establish the peace when the Assyrian shall come into our land Israel, and when he, the Assyrian, shall tread in our palaces." That's Jerusalem. The fourth king is an ethnic Assyrian and nominally a Christian. You can watch my Prophecy Project sessions 11 through 19 for a more complete and specific understanding about this man. However, what is imperative is for us, you and I, is to know and have a relationship with the Messiah, Jesus Christ, and to be resurrected to him, and to also be a part of his army, which will return with him to bring and establish peace back to Israel. Thank you for watching.
This was only one session of many. Be sure to continue watching the Prophecy Project series. If you would like to read more information on this subject, you can find Alan's books on Amazon.com.